Hey guys, welcome. This is Catherine, and this is Little Bits of Heaven Homestead. And this is my husband Joe. You guys have met him a couple times before. So today we are working on chicken resistant caging for our front yard garden. So we have this great space here. It's our rabbit hutches. Let's see if I can show you. There's one of our rabbit hutches. We've got more breeder hutches over here. So this space has been underutilized, but one of my favorite spaces to do our gardening. It is the front of our house here is east facing, so it gets the first morning sun. We have an alternative build home. It's made out of insulated concrete form, so our house has a lot of mass to it. And so that morning sun, it really gets this house kind of baking on this side, and so it radiates a ton of heat. And so I'm able to start a lot of seeds earlier than I would be in my garden that's exposed to a lot of the wind and doesn't have that same radiant mass behind it. I have found that things like melons do especially well here. I have struggled growing melons in the past, and they absolutely love the radiant heat from the house. So part of my issue, and I think you guys can see, I've got free range chickens. So, and I don't even call them free range because the definition of free range, it means that they only have to have some exposure to outside. And our chickens are truly open range. So they have zero constraints. I feel strongly about that, even though I do take some losses. We've got tons of predators here. I mean, you name your flavor of predator and we've got it. But, and then occasionally you'll see my cats walk through. We have deer, we've got javelina, we've got cottontail. I mean, we border the national forest, and it's like open range land here. So to say that my garden has some obstacles is putting it mildly. But my worst issue is my own chickens. They come along, they love the fact that we've got these rabbit hutches here. It's nutrient rich. They pick through all the rabbit manure. Anytime I water anything, they think that it's a free-for-all for them to dig it up. And so last year we tried these, and you can see they were an epic failure. They were little cages out of chicken wire, and they had no support. They looked like little domes last year, and I'm not exactly sure through the course of time what squished them, but we had a handful of them, and every single one of them looks like this. I had a hard time securing them to the ground as I tried different methods to keep them in place, and I would find, I don't know if it was my chickens or who knows, but they were getting kicked all over the yard. Not a great plan. So then I found, a friend gave us a bunch of tomato cages. So you can see the gaps are not small enough to keep chickens out. Chickens could easily get through here. So if you're going to use things like tomato cages, I would highly suggest wrapping them in chicken wire. But what we did come up with, and I've been using this for a couple years on our front porch in my potted plants, is this. It's out of fencing, and this is what my husband Joe is working on. He's making me a handful of these because this week I am hoping to start some squash seeds here in our front yard garden. So I normally wouldn't start them this time of year out in my garden as far as our raised beds because we still have several weeks of potential frost and or freezing. Sometimes we even get snow all the way up through Mother's Day. So that, and it may not be successful starting seeds here either, but because we do have that radiant mass right behind them, I'm hoping that it keeps them protected and it gives me that leg up. Plus I'm really itching to start my garden. It's like an addiction. So anyways, this is out of fencing. They are 2-inch by 4-inch squares and probably, what would you say, 1/8-inch wire? A little less than 1/8-inch wire.
Yeah, probably a little less than 8.
So I'm not exactly sure what gauge of wire this is, but it's sturdy enough to keep the chickens out. We've got it bent so that I can secure it to the ground by putting things like rocks or driving pins through it. It'll be enough of a deterrent to hopefully keep the goats out, and the deer seem to be the least of our issues here, as we've found that planting things that are pretty pungent smelling like rosemary and lavender, and I've got catmint around, a lot of the xeriscaping like salvia plants they're not interested in, and because they don't have an abundant food source in our front yard, they don't necessarily come up here and graze. I do get them certain times of the year. I'm assuming it has everything to do with the amount of moisture out and the food availability out in the mountains and in the fields versus my front yard. My goats do like to come and harass my rabbits, which is kind of a pain in the butt because they have identified a food source in the front yard. And so they come up and they love to eat specifically my irises, which is annoying because I love irises. So this is really all we've got going on. I should probably make some cages for my irises. Oh. But wanted to show you guys some solutions that we've come up with. This fencing is relatively, well, if you buy it by the roll because you've got large livestock or small livestock that you're trying to keep out of your garden, to do these types of cages is relatively inexpensive. So just wanted to give you some tricky solutions. I am going to be planting seeds from my favorite seed source, Mary's Heirloom Seeds. She is an affiliate of ours just because she is absolutely wonderful. We reached out to her. We were actually her first affiliate program, and she's glad that we've done this. We're building community one backyard at a time. So I hope you take the time to check her out. And we do get a small portion of every sale. I do have other affiliate links if you guys are interested in supporting our homestead in any way, shape, or form. There's also an Amazon link that if you click on it, you don't necessarily have to buy anything that we have in our quote-unquote store, but just using it as a funnel will throw us a small percentage of your sale, which we greatly appreciate, just because we're doing this for you guys. So if you get anything of value and you feel like supporting us, that's one way you can do it. I thank you for joining me. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would also greatly appreciate that. Any shares and likes are appreciated. So big thumbs up to you guys. Hope you got something of value, and I shall talk to you soon. Bye guys.